Good day. So I'm here with.
Godwin.
How about you?
I'm with Fabian.
And you all are mentees of the PCB Mentorship, right? That's wonderful. So I have a couple of questions, mostly for the viewers and those who are considering PCB Mentorship this year. And the very first one is, for someone who have never seen a PCB layout in the past, how would you describe your transition into making a professional circuit board right now?
For my transition from making from wires, couple of wires to printed circuit board, I really find it a little bit neater compared to the normal breadboards I'm used to, and prototyping circuits on breadboards where there are clumsy wires all around. PCB made it look a little bit neater, and I can compress a lot of designs into a small thing, what's being in a large stuff. So it's more like a more professional way to design your circuit. And with PCB, you get to learn a lot of things that you won't actually need to know about when you are actually prototyping on breadboards, like signal integrity and stuff like that. So you actually need to be careful and know stuff like that.
Wow. What was one specific concept, maybe it's routing, signal integrity, or footprints, that made you want to quit? And how did you go about overcoming it?
Remember when I started with printed circuit boards, then I was my team Protronics student. Then we just started with this specialization course, and I decided to enroll for PCB since I already had interest from the beginning. And I took a course. Well, there was a course called Eagle Software. It was for Eagle. So I was taking that course. The software was too bogus for me. I was like, I couldn't do this. I decided to switch to a software called Keycard. And when I started with Keycard, and everything seems a bit smooth at first, but when it got to routing, then I started to be unsure of myself. I started routing. But at the end, after I was able to design a project, and after I designed a project, the moment I pressed that send, when you send the files to the manufacturer that was that point, I had started to have sleepless nights until the board came out. Even when the board came out to test it, I was even afraid to test the board, but it came out well. So it's part of the experience anyway.
How are you applying the skills right now? Do you have a project that you're working on?
Yes. Since I designed my first board, which was a mini Arduino board, I currently trying to work on a flight controller that uses two co-processors. So I tend to use my knowledge of PCB in that, which will require an expanded knowledge, but it's better to try things.
Definitely. Let's take this hypothetical situation, right? This also applies to you. If you had unlimited resources and a fully equipped factory here in Nigeria at your disposal by tomorrow, what is the first made in Africa product that is on your mind?
The first made in Africa product will be on my mind because of our country. It seems to tackle with some security situation right now. So we need surveillance. So my first product will be on drone and support system camera, like that will support CCTV cameras. But this one is going to be integrated with artificial intelligence. So that will be among my first project, mostly drones for surveillance and to help troops in the battlefield, because they can be able to locate targets before they actually get there. And we actually know the number of enemies they're about to face. So, which is actually very important because when you know what is coming for you,
you can be well prepared.
So
that's very good. It seems like you have everything well figured.
I think mine just reached the point. I'm making of a robot.
Making a robot. I would like to know more about what the robot is later on. So, how do you plan to pass this knowledge on? Do you plan to mentor anyone in the future?
Yes, absolutely. Especially if you have the passion for it, if you are really interested.
Yeah, it seems like passion is important for you.
Yeah, it's very important because without passion, you can just start and then you stop one day. But if you have the passion, it will drive you to continue, even if it's difficulties.
Do you agree with her on that?
Passion is actually the number one thing, because it was passion that drove me towards PCB design and even made me love electronics the more. I actually agree with her on mentorship too. I might want to mentor those that are actually interested, because there are many people that are actually interested in electronics and in PCB design, but because they lack the tools, they might just, this one is not for me. But meanwhile, they really have the zeal to do it. So I just hope probably I may be able to set up something whereby people can come to learn about PCB designs, create their own products, and apply them wherever they want to apply them.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
5 years is a really short time, but I actually see myself designing consumer electronics, some IoT devices, and a couple of flight controllers for drones specifically, like quadcopter drones, which are really small and efficient for video making, for surveillance, like I said earlier.
Do you have any?
Okay, so I see myself practicing both PCB, that's hardware design, and software engineering, and also building IoT devices.
That's wonderful. Now, the very last question is, what do you say to another young African who thinks hardware design is too hard or is only for people in the Western world? What would you tell that individual right now?
Because the name is hardware doesn't mean that it's hard. Though, when something is hard, it's because you have no interest in it actually. The moment you begin to develop interest in something, no matter how you see it as, no matter when you encounter a difficulty, you see it as a challenge to you to want to know more about it. Because even sometimes when I began my designs, sometimes when I begin to design, I get to a point, I don't really know what this component is used for, on how to route this. Then that will make you to start doing your personal research. So it's not really a hard thing if you have the interest, because if you have the interest, the moment you encounter a problem, you want to do your research. When you do your research, it expands your knowledge to know more about multiple things. So I think the advice for people that think hardware is hard is, if you have the passion, you should just go for it instead, rather than thinking about whether it's hard or not hard.
What do you have to say about that?
I'll say that actually getting started can actually look very difficult or hard, but with the right mentorship, I feel like it is possible. And having the right mentor can also limit the learning curve. Instead of you doing trial and error, when you have a mentor, like, you also know what you should focus on. So I feel like with the right mentorship, it is easier. Getting started on your own can actually be very difficult.
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.